Well, first off, I was taken back by the visual effects. Obviously, when you're watching a Zack Snyder film, the visuals are like what captivates everyone. But the film as a whole, you see, I felt indifferent when I was watching it for the first time. 'Cause I rewatched it last night, and I had some like second thoughts on maybe I like it less. And I'll touch upon that later on. But yeah, I feel like right now I stand on it. It's okay.
I pretty much had the same experience. Very much different on it. I'll give it like a 6 out of 10 as possible. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It was just like run of the mill sci-fi. It was kind of frustrating watching it because the announcement of a director's cut.
That.
So while
I think we should touch.
yeah. So like while I was the movie experience for Rebel Moon was extremely annoying because like when I was watching the film, every time there was like a segment or like a piece of dialogue or like an action sequence or like a flashback sequence, I'm like, something's there in the director's cut, something's clearly there in the director's cut that was clearly expanded on the director's cut. So it was very, very, it felt like I was watching a very long preview to a film than the actual film itself. Yeah, same thing as you, the visuals were amazing, the color grading, set design.
Rebel Moon might be Zach's, in terms of visuals, it might be his best looking film. You can agree with me or disagree with me on that. I think this might be his best film, like visually.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. I need to rewatch his entire filmography to decide that, but it's definitely up there. Like the first act of the movie basically was really, really nice to look at. Like the shot of the farm, you have like the Jupiter moon in the background. Oh, it was amazing. That could be like a wallpaper on its own. Ooh, is it better than? No, yeah, I need to rewatch some of the films. I can't lie for me to decide that. But it's definitely up there.
Oh, we should talk about the first act, actually.
Okay, it's my favorite part of the film.
Yeah, I think it might be it is my favorite part of the film. Especially loved when Korra was doing the farming, basically, like with the slow motion of the seeds being planted in the ground.
That was shot so well. I was like, oh my god, I want to go farming now.
Like, weirdly, it was like cathartic in a way. Like, whenever you watch a slow-mo in a Zack Snyder film, it just feels very cathartic and very like slow, but intentionally. I don't know how he does it, but he just makes it so grandiose in a way.
Yeah, the first act was definitely my favorite. Like, it felt like, again, something out of Star Wars: A New Hope, Final Fantasy. Like, just the characters doing their own thing, chilling until like the catalyst starts for the story.
Oh yeah.
From the beginning of the movie, you have like exposition on like you have like the opening prologue with Anthony Hopkins talking about like the law of the world and like the Princess Issa. I found that really, really interesting, as well as the arrival of like the space Nazis, the Motherworld. The Motherland?
The Motherworld, yeah.
Yeah, the Empire, basically, of this story.
Yeah.
Pretty much space Nazis, they arrive and they're like, yeah, bro, we want grain from you guys. We want all your grain or we're going to kill you, basically. And they threaten them. And then, yeah, that pretty much kickstarts the plot. It's up to Korra and her, like, farmer partner to, like, grab a bunch of different warriors. But yeah, I think, I enjoyed that bit the most. Again, it was very subtle world building. Like, it was paced. It was the best paced part of the film. It wasn't like jagged, like, you know how like you're watching one of those cryptographs, what they're called, when you're the lie detectors, right? You know how it's just like it's nice and stable. Once we get off the farm planet Velt, it's just like that's how it felt.
Yeah.
Basically, like after once we met Charlie Hunnam's like Han Solo character, it just went way off.
Oh yeah,
for me.
What did you think of General Noble, the antagonist? Yeah.
Oh okay, yeah, he was okay. Like he was. He reminded me a lot of Inglourious Basterds, Christoph Waltz's character. Like just that really, really like intimidating like Nazi SS soldier who was just a complete dickhead. Yeah, I think he did his job really, really well. Like you want to hate him. He's an arsehole. He did really well. He was intimidating. He was annoying. He was scary. He was an arse. He killed the farmer, the main farmer guy at the beginning to show who's boss. The C-3PO character, that's probably the most intriguing part of the film for me, I can't lie. And we barely get any of it, which annoys me.
I actually want to get into Jimmy's character like later on into the discussion. I just want to say that I loved Jimmy's introduction. Yeah. And like I loved how it's like set up almost. Because it showed like, he's a pacifist. You know, he doesn't want to injure anyone, especially like his own like crew almost. And that little like scene between him and the farm girl, I forgot her name, but like that was beautiful in my opinion. Yeah, CGI Jimmy was like really stellar.
Was it CG or was it practical? I couldn't tell.
I think it was like both CG and practical. I think they might have built an actual Jimmy.
The three dickheads that were with the main protagonist that were terrorizing the farm.
Yeah.
They were really good. You really wanted to hate them. So I was really glad that they were killed off like brutally at the end of that first act. It's annoying because it's like I'm assuming the director's cut is like a 3.5 hour film.
Yeah, it's a 3.5 hour film.
Yeah, and this is what, 2 hours 10 minutes?
2 hours and 20 something minutes, I think it was.
Very much like it's the Batman v Superman effect for me as well, where like, you know, when I watched the BVS for the first time post watching it from theaters, you see a lot of like plot holes, I guess, or like a lot of like little nitpicks that you have until the ultimate cut comes out, and it's like that with this film. I'm trying to be structured as possible with the plot from the beginning to end. One minor nitpick I have, I guess, is why do the mother world specifically need this like planet for grain? That's what confuses me. Am I going too deep into the story where it's just like this?
Was it for the mother world? I thought it was just for the army, like specifically like for like General Noble's army. Like they needed grain for like food to feed the army. I thought it was more like that.
You've seen it twice. I've only seen it once, so you probably have a lot more like retention for the movie.
I mean, I still got like bits and pieces still like running from my mind, especially like on the second viewing. Even now, I'm still remember like what exactly it was, the key points and stuff.
It's right. You know what? Forget doing the structured review where we go from beginning to end of the movie. Just pick a topic and just talk about it. I think that would be a lot easier. Let's
just talk about the characters. So we got Korra, so we got Gunner, Blood Axe, and all of them, man. What did you actually think of them?
They felt like video game characters that didn't get fleshed out enough. I think I saw this on a comment or like on the review. It was like, you're playing a video game, like an RPG. You're trying to get all your companions together, right? But you're constantly skipping the dialogue button.
The cutscenes.
Yeah, you're skipping the cutscenes basically. And you're like, wait, what? Oh, wait, who are you guys again? You're the animal guy, you're the gunner, you're the companion of the thing, you're the general that's retired. Okay, cool, that's it. We didn't get enough, which I'm annoyed because like they look cool. They all look sick. Yeah. And again, I think it's the director's cut thing where like, it's just, you go to the planet, cool action scene with them, they have their moment, a bit of exposition dialogue, and then we move on to the next character. And I was not really attached to anyone, probably besides Korra, I guess.
Yeah, visually, all of them great. I mean, like, holy hell, I love Nemesis's like whole aesthetic.
Yes.
Like with the hat and everything. I find her so intriguing, but like her wardrobe for every character is like so cool, and there's so much detail into it. Them as a character, like this is the trickiest part about it, because I didn't want to not like them, because this is Zack, and Zachary Edward Snyder's my boy, and so like I wanted to root for this film, but it was so hard getting to know these characters because it felt more like we were hopping to each different planet, getting these characters in such a little time, and then we have to shoot off to somewhere else.
Yeah.
Wait, what just happened? We were at someone's planet, and all of a sudden somewhere else. What I don't like about the film, and this is like a major gripe, it's just how little characterization everyone has. Like, isn't really there. And if it is there, it's sort of exposition. It just got really tired really quickly. Hearing about these new characters, like the generals that went against the Mother World, Nemesis, or hearing about the prince that went against the Mother World as well, Prince Tarkin, him. You hear about this, but you don't see it. And that's like a point I want to discuss with you. It's the show don't tell.
It was very apparent in this film.
What was apparent was the tell don't show. Maybe it's just edited really weird. I like to think that Zack gave them character. Yeah. But like the way that this is all edited just makes it seem like there's no character to them. Yeah. And they kind of feel like characters you obtained along the way. Yeah. Like whoever edited this, it just feels weird if I'm being honest.
Once they left the vault, it was like cut. Final act. Oh, it's over. Oh, damn. The final climax didn't feel like a climax. It felt like a mid-movie battle before the climax.
Yeah, but this felt like the most un-Zachary Edward Snyder film ever made. Like, this feels more like someone attempting to do a Zack Snyder film, which is so weird because, like, the way that it's edited, like, again, it kind of comes back into the editing. Like, the way it's edited, this is no way in hell this is how Zack edits his films.
Oh, no, yeah, exactly. I legit watched Army of the Dead like 2 days after Rebel Moon, just to like get my, because I was so confused after my Rebel Moon experience. I was like, wait, maybe it's just me that's like acting a bit weird with the movie, so let me watch Army of the Dead. But that was like perfectly fine. That felt like a Zack Snyder film, like a clean Zack Snyder film, like not tampered with, not like choppy or anything. But this one it's a very weird experience, I can't lie. I didn't feel like any emotion for the characters. The Blood Axe brother death at the end, it was like, oh, I didn't feel it. I legit felt nothing. I was like, we know nothing about it. And then like you have like the companion crying about him, and I'm like, I feel like there's like 40 minutes of this guy that was completely cut from the film.
Like,
Because he seems important.
when I was
like
watching,
he was name dropped like 3 times
yeah,
before we met him.
the way that he was, it's just like I knew it was Ray Fisher,
Yeah.
and like I was a bit like, oh no, Ray Fisher, don't die on me, please.
Yeah.
Like I was a bit like that. Wasn't like, oh no, Blood Axe, please don't die.
Yeah.
Shit, why are you dead? No,
Yeah,
we just
exactly.
met you minutes ago.
Okay, look, I understand why like Seven Samurai is like a 4-hour film now, because every
Yeah.
character has like their moment to like shine in that film. This felt like a very, very rushed version of it, and maybe it's one of them things where it's like this should have been a TV series instead of like a Netflix series instead of a movie. Like every character can have their own dedicated episode. That's like what, 6 characters, 7 parts, roughly. 8 episodes you could do, 8 hours worth of content.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I'll definitely give this a rewatch one more time before like we get the Scargiver, and then whenever the R-rated cut comes out. And again, like some of the kills were very, very apparent that they were gonna have blood in it. In the final fight where Korra was fighting the bad guy, the main antagonist, like he stabs him in the torso, and I'm like, blood should be like right there, but like nothing's coming out.
Especially in the barn scene when Korra came in and she attacked those military guys.
Yeah.
She was like cutting them up like with her fucking melee weapon.
Yeah.
Blood should have came out. Like even I saw, I was like, there has to be blood. Come on.
Like,
I know
so weird.
but there's no way in hell that there was not blood coming out of that man.
And speaking of like that barn sequence, I really wish we got more of the that one soldier who kind of like rebelled, the youngster, like the young recruit. Like he was picked on at the beginning, and then like he kind of stood up against them, and he was fighting alongside Korra. Then he just disappeared. I'm like, oh, he had a kind of he had a bit of an interesting character arc there, and then nothing happened there. I'm guessing he will be in the at Velt when like they're doing the whole defend the farm in the second movie. But I kind of just wish we saw more of him.
At least like for his rebellion, it was kind of like shown like a little bit for what was even there. It was like shown like you saw that he was even taking the mick out of everyone else, like especially that guy that tried to basically assault the girl.
Yeah.
Like you could tell like there was some tension there.
It was the most organic bit.
I needed more with him between that guy and the farm girl. Like why would he want to protect her? Like he only met her like once. Right. I would have preferred it. There was like a couple of scenes with him talking with her or something like that. For what was given, it was alright, I guess. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the action sequences?
I liked the Nemesis fight scene with the spider lady. I liked that. Korra's first fight scene in the farm, I could tell like how choppy it was, like editing wise. I feel like there was too many cuts going in.
Yeah.
The bar fight, I actually quite liked it. To be honest, like I quite liked it. But everything else, it was just like it was just fine.
Yeah, like it was. Like, I wasn't wowed, which was annoying because it's like this is a Zack Snyder film. This is like you're there for like the unique taste that you get with action sequences. Nemesis is probably my favorite fight sequences. I had from my favorite fight scene in the movie with the swords, and I wanted more from everything. I think they went a tad too much in the slow mo. Dialed it up a little bit more, like more than usual, like in a Snyder film. Maybe like I wasn't. There was one scene where I was kind of taken out by the slow mo, and it was the bit where like he was the prince, the horse tamer was trying to like tame the animal, and like he was running and it went slow and then it went slower, and I was like, oh, okay, it really took me out of it. It's more like the intrigue that is keeping me with this series. We might as well just move on to that because it's probably the highlight of the movie for me. With Jimmy. The story of like Princess Issa, the rebellion, the assassination of the king, the family.
It kind of comes back into the show don't tell aspects of films. Again, like the biggest struggle that I had with the film was just how it just kept going on for expository stuff, like especially with the mother world. We don't even know what the mother world even looks like. We barely know about the mother world. We keep getting told about the mother world and the royal family, like what happened with the royal family and how everything's gone to shit afterwards. We didn't see any of that, and I would have preferred it if that was the opening rather than Korra on Velt's farming. I would have preferred having the opening being what happened on the mother world, because like remember in Army of the Dead, like you saw what happened in Las Vegas.
Oh, the
like,
opening
you saw what happened.
The opening. Oh, bro, that was amazing.
You saw the uprising, what happened between those individual characters. Like you saw it, and so like Zack should have just done that with Rebel Moon.
There's a lot of parallels with Rebel Moon and the army. Deep it's getting the band together basically.
The band of misfits coming.
everyone has their own like traits and skills. They have to band together and do a heist, basically. A quote heist.
Yeah.
That's basically it. Same concepts.
Yeah.
But one was executed a lot better than the other one. I don't know, maybe there was too many like cooks in the kitchen with this story. Or again, like there wasn't enough time to flesh everything out.
Zach should have had like a co-writer, like someone to look at the script and be like, okay, this is what we can keep, this is what we can change.
The dialogue was okay. It felt very by the books. Like I wasn't like amazed by it. It wasn't like a Scorsese like film, I guess, or like a David Fincher film where I was like, oh, this is cinema, this is dialogue, oh, pure. Jimmy's legit holding this film for me. I can't lie.
That seems like everyone's like opinion on the film. It's like they all love Jimmy, and it's not even just due to the fact like Anthony Hopkins, but because Jimmy has like one of the most like intimate scenes in the film, and he's a fucking robot.
And the cliffhanger at the end as well with like him in the farm, like in the field again, like the whole thing with there's a lot of theories going around that like the girl that Jimmy was talking to was like the princess. Have you seen that?
I don't know about that. I've never seen that.
Oh really?
Theory, but
okay. So a lot of people say like, you know, in the flashback where Korra was like protecting the princess, how like, you know how she has like the ability, and there's like a lot of resemblance between that girl and the girl in the farm, and some years have passed, but again it's like, how did she get there from? It's just theorization at the moment.
Like I want to talk about the team, the dynamic. I didn't feel like they were a team. It felt like a bunch of randos just hopping on a ship going to some place and fight.
Yeah, there was no interaction between any of them really. Great. There was no interaction between any of them really, like properly, like except for like the ending. Except the ending where like they're on the horses going like into the distance. There was no like again, I think Guardians of the Galaxy does this really, really well with like how everyone vibes together. Or like the original Star Wars movies where everyone's like vibing together. We don't have that. So that's a big L.
I think this is due to the fact that like, okay, you take Star Wars, you take like Guardians, every character feels so different from each other. Like Gamora feels different from Quill, Rocket from Gamora, like a bunch of them feel so different, and that's why the dynamic works. Their jokes bounce off of each other, same as Star Wars, like Han and Luke. Or even Leia and Han. That works because those characters aren't exactly the same. What I felt was so like a bit jarring was just how the characters in Rebel Moon felt so similar in many ways. Korra, Blood Axe, Kai, and so on and so forth. They all felt so. They felt like the same character in different fonts. Well, this ain't really a team. It's more like carbon copies of the same person, really.
Yeah, I guess Charlie Hunnam's character was probably the most distinct out of all of them. And that was kind of obvious, given like his betrayal at the end. Yeah,
Kai was like the most charismatic person in the film, and I think he kind of held for the rest of the film.
What I don't get is that like Korra never asks Kai, "What's your motive? Like, what do you want from this?" Okay, on watching it first time, I was like, "Oh, okay, he's the traitor. Okay, fair enough." But like on rewatch, I don't know if you felt it, but it was like, what's your motive? Like, why are you doing this? Korra never asked that. Like, at least say Han Solo, like as a example is like, I'm in it for the money. I do not care, I'm a smuggler. We just want money, we're gonna cut. Done. I don't like the Empire.
Yeah.
We don't get that from Charlie Hunnam's character. I like the fact that he's more realistic where he's like, I'm gonna get killed either way, like if I go against these guys, and what you're doing is a suicide mission. I don't want to be part of it. I just want to get my money uncut. That's okay, but again, it's like I needed more. It's basically, yeah.
Is it wrong to have asked for more chaos into this film? Like it felt tame, weirdly enough. Like on a rewatch, it felt tame. Like we're supposed to believe that these like General Noble and his army, right? We're supposed to believe that they're like the most frightening people in the galaxy. We see them blow up like one planet and that's it. Like I would have preferred something else as well, like to make it seem to have a bit more of an impact to want them to die.
Because like I haven't seen Seven Samurai, but I have seen have you seen Magnificent Seven? By any chance? Like all of them pretty much get wiped out at the end of the movie, but they save the village or they save like the town. Yeah. So like, and you feel it when all of them get killed off. So like, I hope I have that same feeling with Part 2 in the Scargiver when they're defending Velt basically against the Motherworld. Yeah. I don't feel that. It's just the charm of the actors that are keeping me alive, but that's minimum. That's the bare minimum right now. With the actors for Korra, for the Digimon Hansu, they did show Ray Fisher's character in the trailer for the second film. It's just the actors that are keeping me there, not the characters. So they're not really doing a good job. I can't lie. If these were unknowns, I wouldn't care like completely. Like I'd have zero emotion, I guess. attached to these
Yeah.
guys. But it's annoying because they look cool. They all look sick. Like Korra
Yeah,
with
it's
like a
the-
white robe and like a tank
Like,
top and like a gun. Charlie Hunnam's character with the hoodie on. He's got the grill. Nemesis with the two swords and the robe. The Blood Axe siblings and their army with like the blue masks, eye paintings, war paint. The planets look cool. It looks like a grungy Star Wars, like Mass Effect world. The planet where we met Nemesis with the very like it was like steam and like smoke coming. It was pollution heavy. When we met the general, it was like 300 again. That was cool. We barely saw any of that. I'm like, oh man, this would have been like, this should have just been a game.
You said it. Like, this should have been like a TV show, because I wanted more from General Noble. I wanted to see like how frightening he is of a general, like how much of a piece of shit he is.
Yeah.
Like, I get that he bashed the brains of the farm dude, like the head farm guy, yeah.
Mhm.
But like, I wanted more. Like, I wanted more chaos into this, like more bloodshed, more like everything. Like, when you're talking about a sci-fi movie, you really want it to be very chaotic and not be tame. Explore the world, great, you know, but we needed more time with these characters, and that's like the biggest thing that people have. Well, it's like the biggest gripe that people have with the film was just how quick the pacing was, weirdly enough, like from the first act to the second act to the third act.
I don't even think there was a third act. I felt like the second act was just like one big act. It was the first act and there was a second act. There was no third act. Like, you had the final battle, but that didn't feel like a conclusion.
The hindrance of it being part one and then there's a part two, like, it doesn't really end off on a very high note. It's like a very bittersweet one.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know how you can like look at it, but it didn't feel like a proper ending. It just felt like, oh, there's the continuation gonna happen.
I think that's just the hindrance of putting it on a streaming platform than in cinema. Like, I think I feel like if it was in cinema, the final shot would have been them going to the distance, and you have like Jimmy, the camera go to Jimmy, then it ends there, and then like the after credits would have been General Noble in the like the weird like conscious connection world thing with the head of the mother world, the king or the prince or whatever. That would have been the after credits, and then it ends. So watching those scenes back to back together was very, very abrupt.
Yeah, you know, with Korra's character, like, what was your initial thought of her, like, when you first saw her? Like, I know, like, we're talking about the visuals, but like, we talked about it a little bit on characters. Like, what did you think of Korra?
Oh, I think she was cool. Like, I love the actress anyway, man. She's beautiful, man. Like, she's amazing. Like, I've seen her in she's in Kingsman, right? Yes, she's like with the blades. Again, like, there was like a bit of mystery to her. It reminds me a lot of Final Fantasy, like the mysterious, like serious main character who's got a past in solitude doing a thing, and then like you find out like she's like a really like badass, like epic ex-soldier, basically. Cloud Strife, Final Fantasy VII, basically. The flashback sequences, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
very exposition heavy.
I got like one gripe about the flashbacks is that there was voiceover over it, and I didn't want that. I wanted just the flashbacks itself. I didn't need like ad-libs.
Oh yeah, okay, I get it, because like you stop, like it's like, you know, when like someone is, you know, when like you're watching a movie and they're telling you what's about to happen, just like shut up, just I'm watching the movie. It's like that.
You know, when people like make fun of the MCU films, and we do it all the time. You know, when you know, when people make fun of it being like the spoon feeding you, it feels like, but on a bad level as well. I didn't need to be explained what's happening. Like, I can make it out by looking at it.
See, the montage sequence stuff, I found it was shot really well. Again, it goes back to the visuals, I know, but it was shot well. Like, I found her flashback compelling. It was cool. Like, she was taken from her planet, basically. The shot of the scene with her and like the head of the motherworld at the lieutenant with the gun to his head, and like she actually shot. But there was no bullet. Yeah, that was cool. Like, she has like a brutality into her, to like a killer instinct. Basically, she's got, instead of this being a montage, could this been like a full 40-minute like Man of Steel-esque flashback we could have had instead of like a 5-minute exposition dump.
I would have preferred it if we didn't know much about Korra's character. Like, the flashbacks were the only thing, but that was it. Like, we didn't get any expository dialogue about her. I would have had it be her past be kept a secret. Like, you see glimpses of it, flashbacks and stuff like that. You see glimpses of what her life was. Yeah. But that's just about as you'll get. And then the audience will like go along with the movie, unlocking what was her past. I would have preferred it that way.
Yeah, I would have went for that as well. There's so many different ways they could have gone.
Yeah, there's so many like what ifs that could have happened.
Especially from like an audience perspective, it's a bit frustrating because they went through like the very, very safe, basic route.
I know Zach ain't a safe filmmaker. He's not. Like, this. Like, he's not a safe filmmaker. Anything with Zack Snyder, you're gonna get like this very meticulous thing, and I actually want to get into that later on. But yeah.
Like he's known for like every movie he subverts like expectations. What he does in any movie, whether that be Man of Steel, Rebel Moon, Watchmen's like the best example basically. But like he doesn't go by the books with any of his stories. He does a bit in this movie as well, but like, we're so exposed to this kind of like type of story, the sci-fi fantasy story with like, you know, this typical tropes, your rebels and the Empire and getting the band together, and we've seen all these tropes before, so it didn't bring anything new to the genre outside of visuals.
Do you think like his past movies, like in live action, do you think, or even anime, because I think like the Owl film was a book.
Owls of Gahul, yes.
Do you think it helped him because he was adapting from story to film? Like, do you think that helped him in his career, that he was just adapting stories onto the big screen? And whereas when he's doing original stuff, it gets like it just goes into a debate if it's a good film or not.
Like Sucker Punch.
Yeah, like Sucker Punch, for example. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very 50-50 on that film, and that was I think that's the closest experience I've had with Rebel Moon is Sucker Punch.
I feel like, and I think a lot of people may agree with me on this, Zack is great when he's adapting stories because he doesn't really stamp his own like ideas onto it some of the time.
Yeah.
But like adapting a story from a very popular book or comic for the big screen, and people may love it, may hate it, but when it comes to original work, it just becomes like gets shat on for some reason. And it's a very interesting like topic to like talk about. And like, okay, can he actually handle his own like stories? Like, can he tell it properly in a way that he did for those adaptations?
Yeah, I agree with you with that. Again, it's only a part one, so we can't really give an answer to that until part two comes out, and the director's cut as well. So it's a bit jarring because it's like you just gave me a trailer basically for the actual movie than the actual movie itself, which annoys me the most. Yeah, but even with Sucker Punch, it was like I didn't get it.
Like, okay, watching Sucker Punch is like it can get jarring in most part because you're like, okay, I get it, but then the second rewatch you're like, wait, shit, I don't get it.
Yeah.
The third rewatch, I kind of get it, but I don't at the same time.
Yeah, it felt like same with Rebel Moon and Sucker Punch. It just felt like an amalgamation of different cool ideas just thrown together.
Yeah,
but they weren't given enough time
like
to
anime, sci-fi,
like thriller.
I love Sucker. One of my favorites from him.
Oh man, Sucker Punch is. I've already seen it once, but it was so like.
Was it too much?
It was too. I didn't get the ending at all. Like I saw like fans were like, no, this is if we see it from this perspective. And that's like she's the angel, and I'm like, oh, but like that still is like over my head. I don't know. Again, we have to wait for part two, Scargiver, because like there's, I don't know, it's a weird one. It has to be Zack Snyder films that are just weird experiences. I haven't felt like this in a long time. I can't lie. This
is the trickiest thing with like Zack's films, and it comes back into it being meticulous. So the way that Zack's films is that there's so much meat, there's so much juice in his films that even if you take away like 20 minutes or 30 minutes from his films, you are completely lost. And there's like different points that you're like, wait a second, that doesn't make any sense. But when they add back the 20, 30 minutes of that film, it just makes sense. Zack is the only filmmaker that his films are so like is too much for audiences that they have to like take out so little time, but those little times make up the whole story.
Or an extra 5 minutes of General Noble, or like this the more like history.
It was an hour of this film.
What?
It was an hour. Yeah, it was an hour.
Wait,
it was an hour of this film. Rebel Moon.
What was the hour though? You cut off there.
What was the hour? Sorry, like I don't know what like was the hour of the film, but like just in general, like an hour of the film was taken out of the film to make a PG-13 version.
Oh, damn.
That's why like there are 3 hours and something minutes. So there's obviously so much more that's now included into that R-rated cut.
Okay. For flip's sake, man, why did they do this to me, man? Just give us
that's Zack's film, by the way. Why would they do that?
I think it's just I feel like this is going to become a trend with streaming movies in general, where it's like the whole point of streaming was to release longer cuts and complete cuts of the movie. But now, why are we doing the half cut thing and the full cut and like the director's cut? Like it was so jarring.
I get that they're wanting to show it on big screens, but it would have been nice if we had it on our screens.
With the world of Rebel Moon, I know they're gonna do like an anime series and like a comic book prequel. It's cool that they're doing that, but like have a foundation first, because I don't want to do homework with this story. Then it becomes tedious and like forced. have a foundation first and grow out from it. Like, you're only one film in. Don't hype up other stuff. Rebel Moon, like, the way they promote it and talk about it, and like from what we've seen, it's like Zach's taken it from a book series, like a fantasy series.
Yeah.
He has a lot of creative freedom to do whatever he wants. Well, I forgot what my point was. It's alright, never mind. Carry on.
Okay, I was, I'll talk and then I'll let you think about what your point is. I want to talk about how everyone's like panning the film and like basically making it as it's a rip-off of Star Wars. The thing is that this is a film that Zach has been wanting to make for a very long time. Like, this was a Star Wars film before it was Rebel Moon, and he gave it to Disney, and they said no. Of course, it's gonna have Star Wars like influences into it because it was a legit Star Wars film before it was Rebel Moon. So like people being like, oh, why is it like a Star Wars ripoff? But it was a Star Wars film before it was called Rebel Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's not even like the exception of Zach. You're taking films from back then and you're doing like an interpretation of it, like doing Seven Samurai, or any other group type film. I know this is like influenced by Seven Samurai. Star Wars is influenced by Seven Samurai as well. And so I don't know what's the debate. Like, is it a bad thing? Is it a good thing that it's influenced by Seven Samurai? And like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Or even Star Wars, like, is that a bad thing? I just been seeing that all over like on social media, especially Twitter. Like, that's where like you just hear the voices getting so bigger.
Yeah, I avoid Twitter. I can't lie.
Yeah, true. You're good.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with copying or taking inspiration from other films. They say, they're saying imitation is the best form of flattery. But regardless, like, I thought it'd be more Star Wars influenced when watching it, but it didn't. Like, of course, like, you have the Empire and stuff, but it didn't feel like a Star Wars ripoff when I was watching it.
Western.
Yeah.
I feel that. It felt Western. With
Magnificent Seven in space than Star Wars.
Yeah. Like, with Seven Samurai, there are a bunch of samurais, but with this, it's more like guns and a few, like, one or two swords. With Seven Samurai, it took place in like one town. It was a big town, but it took place in one town, and that's where you found like the extra 6 samurais. So that kind of helps. And then when you go into Rebel Moon, it's like you're hopping to different planets and you're having to find like these people. But it would have been nice if we saw those planets more, like what was so different about them. But that would have been neat. But I mean,
it is what it is.
It's so hard to be a Snyder fan, especially because of this fucking film. Like, it's so hard now.
Oh, it's like back to square one with Man of Steel and BVS.
Fantastic.
Like, great. We have to get the shields up again. And I like, there's clearly a lot of flaws with this, and I'm not gonna like deny it. We're not like Snyder. We're not like super Snyder. We're fanboys, but we're not like delusional fanboys, basically.
Difference is that like we critique it out of love. Like, what we say, it's not out of malice. It's always out of love because we've been Zack Snyder fans for a very long time, and so like we know how he is. This isn't Snyder certified.
Again, like Ben Affleck's my favorite Batman. I don't like a Batman that kills, but he's my favorite Batman. This is like tip of the iceberg compared to the entire iceberg. It's like that.
I'll actually watch the R-rated version. Like, I'll watch it.
Oh yeah, no,
just out of interest.
No, again, it's one of them things where, like, I think I said it in a quote. He said it in a quote. It was like the R-rated version is like a completely different experience, like a different film.
Yeah.
So I'll take his word with that.
So the question is, for our viewers, is that should they actually watch this version of the film, or do they need to wait for the R-rated version next year?
I would say wait. I can't lie. I'm just like, you might as well just get the full experience waiting than watching like a half film. It's like with Justice League. It's like, just don't watch the theatrical cut. You're gonna gain nothing from it. Just watch the 4-hour version instead.
Like, what are you hoping for part 2? Like, what are you hoping for?
I want to care for these characters, basically.
I want slower, like, intimate moments with these characters, especially because they go to the farm.
Yeah.
On Veldt. Like, I want slow. I want intimate. I want, like, give me character. Like, I wanna see them having fun. I want to see them scrap at least once or twice. Like, I want to see them, like, something else. Like, I want something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I actually want them.
You know, like in Saving Private Ryan?
Yeah.
In the final act where they're, like, holding off the line. Like, hold the line until, like, help comes. All the characters are just, like, holding, like, the motherboard off, like, their soldiers and stuff. Where it's just, like, you're just
Fury.
on your edge. Yeah, even Fury. It's just, like, you're holding it. Just hold the line with whatever you do. And, like, you feel, like, when every character just gets killed off, you're like, oh,
in the trailers, it just seems like, okay, they're training the townspeople, great, but I want to know what about characters, like, what are they doing on that planet? Like, I want to see that.
I'm excited. I'm very excited for part 2. I'm gassed. Like,
I want this series to continue. Like, I want more Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
I know that we feel indifferent with this first film,
Yeah,
but I want it to succeed because I want Zack to succeed.
yeah. I think even
Been
like in
through-
general, like I feel like there's a R-rated Star Wars type story in the market right now that we don't have.
Yeah.
Possibly, I don't know what is there. No, there's legit nothing. Mass Effect's finished. Gears of War. No, yeah, that's all I can think of. Yeah, like we don't have that. We don't have something like that right now. There's a lot of potential for this franchise. The ending with General Noble.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that kind of a lie that did surprise me. Like, well, him being like a, I don't know, fucking android or something like that, because it just seems like there was something in the back of his head. And I was like, wait, is he a robot or something? I
It's
don't
all
really know what
theories
to
at the
feel.
moment. It's all just like theorization with his character and like the king is I forgot his name, man. Is it the king? When they're on that like
King,
little astro plane.
Yeah.
When they're talking, that was amazing. That was with the moon, the eclipse. It was so cool. But again, it's all just like lore and theories at the moment. We need more basically. But yeah, that's pretty much it, I think.
I think that might be it, really.
Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. That was our review. If you were to score it, grade it, label it,
Yeah.
what would it be?
I'll give it like a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is it a 5 like
maybe
a
5.
well, how would you rank? Wait, with a 5, is that like a pass or like? For me, a 6 is a pass, like passable. A 5 is like
5. What would be 5? Like, it would be like
a 5 is like just mid. Like I'm not watching this again.
yeah, let's just say mid. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it. I don't know if I'm nice. 6, 5.5 to 6, 5.8,
Mm.
maybe a 6.
Yeah, yeah.
So like a C maybe. A C, yeah. Or if you were to rate it, it would be like wait till the director's cut, basically. Don't watch it till the director's come out. Basically, that's it. So yeah, that's basically our review.